You want some cake? Can you even eat cake? Can you even eat cake? I don't think you can eat cake. I feel like I visited the infirmary too often recently. But what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of a sing-song accent. I think I've already done this part, haven't I? Good afternoon. Olga Dmitrievna has sent me to get some. I hesitated slightly. Yeast. Ah, sure. She gave me a broad smile. It's just that I don't have any pioneer. How so? She said. How? How so? She said that. Well, I had some, but now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be of some use to me, actually. Where did I get it then? I sighed. Take this. She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. I took a closer look. It was Ustankin school beer. I didn't see what it said there. I was about to read it, but then I was like, Ustankinsko. We haven't even seen that word in here yet, but now I did. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Nobody will even notice. She had a point, but everything just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay then. The bowl clearly wouldn't fit into the pocket of my shorts. Oh, thanks. I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. Well, beer certainly couldn't replace me. Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this, but generally, walking around with this bottle in my hands looked like a silly idea to me. So I decided to bring it to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt. Of course. So great music. And everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out to me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. How's it going? What exactly? You search for ingredients. Ah, so you know already. Yes, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going alright, I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. What do you have there? She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. Ah, this? She got me. Ah, it's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square with the puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she is one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in this camp who like nothing better than to poke their noses into other people's businesses. Passing the pioneers' cabins, I stumbled upon Oliana, of course. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. She would just take it. That's the problem with Oliana. She always gets what she wants. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provoke. I don't know how to pronounce that provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher officer bearing a massage to headquarters. That's certainly a big message, if you know what I mean. I was carrying the bottle at waist height, so I was slightly embarrassed. You want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything, nor tried to pursue me. There was nobody at Olga Dmitrievna's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would ever worry that much about a single bottle of beer, like I was back in high school. It's a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I'll claim that it's not mine. I can always think of a suitable excuse for my enormous experience. The last thing is Clubhouse though, but what about the yeast? How am I supposed to get yeast if they don't have yeast? I wonder what this is. Scene, football, locker room shower. We need to go there. Especially if it is a girl locker shower room. Let's see. I think we have been here because this is where the strawberry was last time. Feels like I've gone through more things today than all the previous days combined. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I'd even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. That's a nice robot. But why are you making it a cat girl? That is my question here. I know you two are boys, you know, boys and cat girls. They go together so well. Shuriken and Electronic were enthusiastically building something. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of a robot, or at least the body of one. Moreover, this robot was female and had animal ears. I didn't want to make up theories about the purpose of such a device for luminaries of Camp Cybernetics. Well, even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself. And that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others, who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. Oh, it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries. Luminaries of the sciences. Hey guys, I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Semyon, come in. We're always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind. It's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person, something he can use in the right moment. Sugar. I need sugar. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some kind of unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5-pixel stature, "Gold, we need more gold." What kind of game is that? Minecraft? Because I need gold in Minecraft right now. We got it, said Electronic calmly. Why would you want it? I felt that I shouldn't explain to Shurik that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. It isn't for him. It's for me. I don't know. Olga Dimitrievna told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen? When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort. That's reasonable, isn't it? I mean, if it's their work, shouldn't they then do their work and put it in the canteen? The door opened, revealing Electronic holding a huge bag behind him. What about the library, though? That is farther in the back. Why did they have flour? I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. But where would we put it? Electronic gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. It seems that that previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then. It's not that fair to carry. We're busy. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Shurik. He owed me, after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. A sigh took the bag and headed to the door. Thanks anyway. As said, at parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down to have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. Just 20 kilos? On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternately in my hands or on my legs or in my arm or even on my head, looked impossible for me to cover. And as I resigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Maybe I could help you. Oh. I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart? Why didn't I think of that myself? I mean, you didn't think that you were going to be the one getting flour and yeast and sugar. And not that much sugar. Yes, that would be great. Wait here, I'll be right back. And she's smiling. This is cute. She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? That's cute. It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. Started to think. She seems quite unusual now, with no trace of shyness on her face and actually the complete opposite. Smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena. A few minutes later, she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back. So I'll go then. Yes, see you. And thank you again. I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like there are two different people living inside of Lena. But the second one, confident, happy, and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I making things up again? That's a possibility there. I thought it would be better if I get all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with the handcart. Finally, it seems that everything had been collected. I took the handcart with sugar outside and put the sack with the flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberries that somehow fitted in between. And the bear was hidden under my shirt, just in case. The day was coming to its end, so I had to hurry, as cake itself will need some time to bake. Of course, I'd rather enjoyed lying down, closing my eyes and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga Dmitrievna down. Indeed, after all the trouble I'd gone to, I even felt personally responsible for the success of this event. Coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the cart that was heavy, it ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now, both the physical and mental one. I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was, probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interest in an unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for a cake. Do you like cakes? I don't know. What? You never tried a cake? I don't know. Obviously, the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at that moment. I really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. I see. Come down and continue later and have a bite. Really? Really? And what are they made of? What? I asked indifferently. These cakes. Well, some flour, some sugar, various fillings. Now that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yeah, sort of. And sugar? And sugar. Could you lend me a little? What for? I thought it was over the top. A sudden gust of wind made me grab the cart instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was there. Am I daydreaming? It's a ghost. I noticed, though, that the sugar sack was untied and a small heap of it had poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder, dinner was still an hour away. I brought the handcart to the rear exit and handed the foodstuff to the camp cook. She must have already been told what to do with them, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I just wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited, and closed my eyes again. And my eyes closed themselves. I guess I get so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Someone is playing Farming Simulator. Nice. Hey! Hi! Miko was standing before me. Yeah? I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me, I must have interrupted you. No problem, I was just sitting here. Alright then. Miki beamed with a smile. As always, that's what I like about her. I was just coming to dinner. I thought that's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early, but I decided to check just in case. Maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is. I mean, maybe? Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken. It's just that I misread it. Actually, clocks can be mistaken. She seemed to be ultimate. Oh my god. She seemed to ultimate. You know what I mean. Confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great. Then I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Frankly speaking, I do mind. Why are you so mean against Mika? She's the best one here. You're talking to Slavia. You're even going to the beach with Ileana and what's her name? I don't remember right now. The really angry chick. And Mika is just the cutest one. You know I have some matters to attend to. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Mika as I always did, while she screamed something after me. You're so mean to her! So how the hell do I get a picture of her laying on my lap on the beach? Because I know that's a picture you can get. I said I was going to put that in the last episode if it doesn't happen in this series. Why are you so mean? A minute later, I got to the square and sat on the bench with the firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. I think this is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but indeed I was really angry. I completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out either. I'm just gonna turn off the oven because it's getting really hot. Okay. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by a camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even ends up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or a plot of the universal mind, they better consult with their psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. The most annoying thing is that everything that happens seems to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happier not having to carry around bags of sugar that weighed a ton, but I had no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. Who are you angry with? You? I mean, I have only been nice to Mika. So why is my character just, if I'm not choosing an option with Mika, he's just mean, and when I have options, I'm trying to be nice. Uliana was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody really, I answered absently, but my fists gave me away. Just like that. Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me, why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to, I replied reluctantly. I guess it was food, maybe it was. Uliana was about to say something, but at that moment the bell rang, calling the Pyrenees for dinner. I sighed in relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Uliana behind. Semyon, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Ah, sure. Well, I still didn't give you the yeast, but, you know. It was at that exact moment that I understood the true meaning of the saying, keep your things to feed your cat. Is that a saying? You didn't tell anybody. This ought to be a surprise. Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. And now off you go to dinner. Olga Dmitrievna waved her hand, pointing at the canteen. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. It turned out there were plenty today, so I got the chance to eat all alone. There was fish, with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again. I'll be left half hungry. And didn't we have fish for lunch? Excuse me, fish is very healthy and also very good. It depends on what fish you're eating. I am very fan of salmon. Yeah. Is it a fish only day today? Maybe. Having pushed my plate with the fried sea dweller away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon somebody came up to the table. Hey, are you alright? I'm fine, I replied without changing my position. Just tired? Yeah, a little. That's bad. Slavia said it seriously. Of course. You remember that we were going for the hike after the dinner, don't you? Have you prepared everything? Oh, Lena is there too. What? Where? I opened my eyes and lifted my head up instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia. The hike. She was surprised. Didn't you know? No. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. If only I could sink it to the ground right away. The girl remained silent. The girls. It's the girls. How do I get back? How do I get back? Ah. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of dinner time, but the strong voice of Olga Dmitrievna was heard from the opposite end of the canteen. Guys, to celebrate the miraculous rescue of our friend and comrade Shurik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly and looked towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneers' backs. A second, just a second. And nothing about me. Nothing about me rescued Shurik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader. Let's go, or we won't get our share. Slavia smiled. Let's go. Lena agreed. Yeah, sure. I got up reluctantly and tagged along behind the girls. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga Dmitrievna was just putting the cake in the center of the table. And now? The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Uliana rushed out from the pioneer crowd and dived into the cake. She managed to... Give me a second. Katie wants to join the party. We have a cake. You want some cake? Katie, come here. You want some cake? You want some cake? Can you even eat cake? Can you even eat cake? I don't think you can eat cake. That's my baby. Look at her. It's my baby. Oh, it's your baby. It's not my baby though. Yeah. She managed to nibble it a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from the outside at all this drama. Elisa smiling, Lena picking up some cream with her finger, all the furious pioneers around. Can you not go towards my drink? I would like my drink without hair. I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again, here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of a computer. Maybe he gets sucked into a game or something. I don't know what this is. I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and the confusion became sharper. Uliana, that's the limit. I just, well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top even for her. Shurik broke into the conversation, or is it a court? No. Please, Olga Dmitrievna, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter? The camp leader turned to Uliana. And you, today I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent so you behave next time. Whatever. She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on the hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than willing to switch places with Ileana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I have guessed beforehand, I'd have been the first one to go berserk and smash the damn cake. Do it! Now you have the chance. But don't do it in front of Lena and Slavia. And Miku. Because they are nice. After a couple of minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too. There will be a lineup at the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally, but it seems that I failed. Don't be late. Juliana was sitting at the table when I approached her on my way to the exit. So why did you do it? She looked very upset, but she had a right to be so. I wanted to, Juliana replied abruptly. So you're happy now? Of course I am. And you? Good luck with the hiking. She smiled mischievously, sprang up, and rushed out of the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. When she wishes you luck, you better be careful. Walk and you shall reach Walk and you shall reach was exactly this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow, I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or to just skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness. Although sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, how should I get ready? Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. The cat is making weird noises. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there, although it was about 10 minutes before the time Olga Dmitrievna had whatever. I settled down near the edge and waited patiently. Night was falling. If viewed from the outside, what a fairly comical picture we could make. A crowd of pioneers lined up out of sheer habit, like they were awaiting a silent command from the bronze agenda. And all this happening in the scarlet rays of the sunset. And there he is, waving his hand and screaming attack as roaring soldiers with red neckerchiefs charged into the battle against some ghostly enemy. But Olga Dmitrievna showed up and started to talk instead of agenda. It seems everybody's here. Great. I was so tired today that I couldn't even think about anything, so I ended up just listening to the camp leader. Now today we'll go hiking. It is essential for every pioneer to be able to come and rescue his comrade to offer a helping hand in the hour of need, saving them from a hopeless situation. We have to learn to do all these things together. A whisper that ran through the pioneer crowd suggested that most probably this truly epic expedition would end in a clearing in the forest several hundred feet away from the square. Somehow I thought so too. We'll walk in pairs, so if you haven't chosen a partner for yourself yet, now's the right time to do so. Lena and Slavia. They're a pair. For sure. Juliana isn't here, so Alisa, please go with Olga, so I can go with Mika. Or it's gonna end up with Mika and Alisa going together. I'm gonna have to go with Olga. Pioneers quickly caught on to the idea and started to match in pairs. It looked like I was the only one without a partner. Slavia was enthusiastically discussing something with Olga Dmitrievna. Lena was with Miku. Oh, okay. Electronic was, of course, with Shurik. Well, it might be not a bad idea to go alone after all. Semyon. The voice of the camp leader pulled me out of my thoughts. I went up to her reluctantly. I see that you haven't found a partner. Seems like it. Then you'll join Xenia. She's alone too. Why? What about Alisa? Where is she? I was struck with that special kind of despair that only a true loner can experience. I'd rather go with Alisa than Xenia, unless Xenia has some very juicy information about the girls. So it appears that I'm left with a prickly librarian that I wouldn't risk spending a couple of hours with even if I was paid for it. Although we both seem to be in the same boat now. I slowly approached Xenia. Well, I guess we'll be going together. She looked up at me. Don't you even think that I'm glad? Said Xenia seriously. Why on earth you should feel glad? I asked naively. Never mind. It would be much better if you just shut up. I couldn't get any better than this. She turned her back on me and followed the other pioneers. Still haven't seen any special reason to walk in pairs. Anyway, we were walking on the well-trodden forest trails, and it would be quite difficult to get lost here, even if I wanted to. Moreover, while we'd already been hiking for half an hour, we weren't rushing into the depths of the forest, trying to face all danger that could test our courage and harden our pioneer spirits, but instead we were just walking around in circles. However, if we take into account that Olga Dmitrievna was our chief, this hike could be compared to a hobbit's march from the Shire to Mordor. I don't get that reference because I don't like Lord of the Rings. Sorry. Just as Xenia insisted, I was following her at a distance in silence. The librarian seemed to be perfectly okay with it. Hey, don't you know when we'll reach our destination? Our what? The place where we'll settle down and set up camp. The whole point of this hike isn't to set up a camp, but the hiking itself. You don't get it. No, I do not. Because when I was hiking, when I was in high school, not high school, I'm sorry, 10th grade or 9th, somewhere in between, we had a hiking trip. And the goal of this hiking was to be friends and set up a camp. But only for the day. It wasn't like a night hike. It was in the day at school, Yeah, it seemed that I didn't understand a thing about hiking. I guess you're right, but still, I don't know. She replied sharply and quickened her pace. I caught up with her and asked, Listen, why are you always so... I was about to say mean, but stopped short. I haven't done anything bad to you, and I'm not going to. She glared at me in surprise. Always so. What? Well, unsociable, kind of. Or is it something about me? I'll cut that stupidity out already. As you wish. I decided not to start a conversation with her for the rest of the hike. At last, Olga Dmitrievna decided to end this Sisyphean toil. I don't know what that is. I wanted to say toilet, but that's not what it says. It's time to halt. The place chosen turned out to be a quite large glade with a few tree trunks laid in a half circle to make an improvised arbor with the remains of a campfire in the middle. Haven't we been here? When we tried to run away from Alisa and Liana and stuff. Obviously, such hikes are a tradition of this camp. I was sent to gather firewood together with the other boys. It didn't take long because there were a lot of branches and logs of various sizes lying around. Eventually, Olga Dmitrievna lit the fire using some old newspapers. I was eager to know what was written there, but couldn't discern anything other than Soviet symbols. Pioneers took their places on the fallen log benches and started to talk about things. It seems that the final goal of this event had been achieved. The only thing missing were a pot of fish soup, aluminum cups of vodka, and a guitar. I don't think these people are old enough for vodka. In my country, in Norway, you have to be 21 to drink vodka. And I bet that all of these girls are like 18 or 19. But not 21. Nuh-uh. But this is Russia, so I mean. What is the age restriction of vodka in Russia? Is it 18? I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if these would appear somehow. What are you thinking about? Snaya sat next to me. Oh, nothing special. Just enjoying the hike. I answered sarcastically. You don't look too happy. Well, I'm not about to jump for joy. Sorry about that. Okay, I won't disturb you. She sat with me for a while, but after realizing that I wasn't in the mood of talking, she left me to enjoy my introspection all alone. And all I wished for was to lie down in bed and fall asleep as soon as possible. But I was being surrounded by smoke and the useless chatter of pioneers around me instead. They were cheering and laughing and in general enjoying this warm summer evening. In the far side of the glade, I noticed that Lena was arguing with Elisa intensely, and Lena seemed like complete opposites to me. Slavia had left to go somewhere after our conversation, it seems. Electronic Shurik were trying furiously to prove something to Olga Dmitrievna. Looks like I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. I kind of want to help Lena here. Try to find out what Elise and Lena are arguing about. But on the other hand, why should I care? All I was doing was just watching the fire. There is a saying that claims that one could watch it forever, as well as running water. But there was also some third thing here. What was that? One could watch three things forever: burning fire, running water, and how other people work. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Semyon, don't you think that it's too early to relax? But what else would I need to do? I honestly couldn't get what Olga Dmitrievna wanted from me. Weren't we supposed to see what Elisa and Lena was arguing about? Because I'm pretty sure I said that. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. Wait, did I? Excuse me, can I backtrack here? Because I did try to find out what Elisa. Well, okay, you don't want to do that. Why give me the? She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After those words, I am completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave, or at least like I'm a free labor force, which is strictly speaking the same thing. I sighed and put my head down on my hands, hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. I looked up and saw Shurik and Electronic who sat next to me. What did I say? Oh. What do you want? I asked tiredly. Don't be sad. Is there anything better to do? Look, we've been discussing the possibilities for the advancement of the cybernetics club with Olga Dmitrievna, and there is a problem. We need more guys. If you could. He hesitated. Advancement and those guys are incompatible with each other. I said nothing and started to look over the pioneers around me instead. Well, I don't have time. Can't you see that I'm always busy with the camp leader's errands? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of embarrassing how it all went today with Leona. I looked at him with surprise. It seems that Shurik blames himself for that cake accident. Yeah, it is. All the pioneers seem to be here, but I couldn't spot Slavia anywhere. I think she's angry with me. Who? I asked absently. Leona. Maybe I should apologize. No, it's not your fault. We sat silently for a while, and then I stood up and said, My legs are numb. I better take a walk. They made no reply. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close look of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga Dmitrievna couldn't wait to come up with some kind of new task for me. I haven't found Slavia anywhere. Maybe I should go and try to find her. On the other hand, I felt sorry for Liana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. I don't really want to go to Liana. I don't want to go back to the camp. I want to try to find Slavia. I was absolutely sure that Slavia was alright, so I decided to stay. Is something wrong here? Is something wrong with the game? I mean, what happens if I say remain seated? It's like, why do you give me these options? I was absolutely sure that's not it. Yeah. I guess that's enough for me for today. That's basically what you said when I said remain seated. Oh my god. I sat in my previous place and waited for the end of hike patiently. almost physically able to feel the looks the camp leader aimed at me. I want to figure out why the girls were arguing. I want to find out where Slavia is. Why don't you let me? At last she stood up and declared, and now let's play cities. Skylines? Because I had not played that before. I had nothing against the game itself, but it was obvious that the hike will take longer because of it. Pioneers sat around the fire. I noticed Lena and Elisa, who took their places on a trunk opposite me. It seems that everything is alright. And just a few minutes ago, I thought the opposite while looking at their quarrel. But anything is possible. I really like to know what they were talking about, but it's impossible now, and I could feel tiredness growing in me more and more. My mind was completely blank. To be precise, my head was so heavy that there was no place in it for ideas to unfold. While in my better times, my brain appeared to be a wide highway with millions of dots running by chasing one another and causing major crashes. Now it was more like a footpath lost in the woods, which is used rarely on, only in exceptional cases. Slavia didn't come back. Maybe she had something to do. But once again, there's no way to find out now. Okay, let's start. Moscow. Pioneers started to name cities. Finally, it was my turn. I tried to listen closely to catch the first letter of the city I'll have to use. Arkhangelsk? I'm not Russian, so I don't know this. We'll play several rounds. Each new city name made it harder to remember everything that was mentioned before. My attention was dissipating, and I was already lost in all these capitals, megalopolises, villages, and urban settlements. Semyon, it's your turn. Olga Nitera brought me back to reality. Oh, excuse me. And what was the last one? You're daydreaming again. It was Sevastopol. Okay, then I'll say London. Already used. Oh, is it any, like not only Russia, it can be anywhere? Luxembourg? If that hasn't been named? I'm trying to find something in Norway. Larvik in Norway. That has not been used, I know it. There were tons of cities in the world, starting with L, but it was hard to remember even one of them now. Liverpool? Already there. Los Angeles? Finally. Why didn't no one say Los Angeles? That is like the... If I play the game Cities, as apparently that's the name of the game, I would probably be like, Los Angeles, the first time I hear an L. But I was thinking of ending it here. I kind of don't want to though. I want to go a little bit further to see if there is any new scene here. She gave me a scornful look, but the game went on. I could hardly bear to think of another city starting with L, but unfortunately, it was the last round. Okay, that's enough for today. It's already late. Time to go back. I sighed with relief. On our way back, we walked as we liked without joining in pairs. So we can stop there. Anyway, it seems like now it's actually getting a little bit more exciting again because now it's night. We're not walking in pairs. And if I recall right, there is something that's going to happen very soon. And I'm talking about very soon. If I recall it right. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm going to save on number 9 on the 8th one, right? Yes, number 9 and 10, just to make sure. Thank you, and I'll hope to see you in the next episode of Everlasting Summer, or whatever it will be. I don't know. Thinking about live streaming tonight, but I'm not sure. We'll see how my energy level is, because now it is a little bit up, but it has been very down in the evenings and stuff. So, we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.